About a week after Enzo talked with the spiritualist he had met online, he made arrangements and traveled to see him. Upon getting to the man's location, Enzo realized that the spiritualist owned a very big church and it was full of members from different walks of life. Judging from the kind of cars that were parked outside the church building, Enzo could tell that the man was making a lot of money from his church members. Since Enzo had arrived at the church while an activity was going on, he was instructed to wait in the man's office.
My son, I am glad you made this step. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting. I had to counsel some of my members.
The spiritualist said,
Oh, it's fine, sir. I'm the one who is glad to be here. Oh, please, do away with this, sir. You can call me father because I am about to become your spiritual father. And I will show and teach you things that will make you one of the biggest pastors here in this country. I am ready to do anything, sir. I am tired of begging people to come to my church and at the end of the day, no one shows up. I understand you, my dear. I do. In fact, 2 years ago, I was in your shoes until I met a man who changed my life. 2 years ago?
Enzo asked in shock when he realized that the spiritualist had achieved everything he had in just 2 years.
Yes, 2 years. I was so hungry for a change, and I swore I would do anything to change my story. If you've reached a point where you are willing to do anything to change your story, then you're ready. I am ready, sir. Sorry, father. My parents and neighborhood have turned me into a laughingstock, and I want to prove to them that I can make it. In as much as I would love to help you achieve everything at once, we will start with baby steps. For starters, I will give you a container of soap you will use while bathing. Once you use that soap, you'll begin to attract people to your church. Also, once I give you that bottle of oil we discussed about, make sure you pour it in the church premises every service day, and you will see the wonders that will happen. I will do as you have instructed, Father. So, did you bring the money I told you to bring? Here it is, sir. This is good. It shows that you are ready to start soaring with the eagles. Once you do the things I've told you, let me know and I'll tell you the next thing to do.
When the spiritualist told Enzo to bring some money along with him so he could buy some items, Enzo thought the man would give him a lot of things that would help his church grow, especially since he had requested for a lot of money. But when Enzo received just a small container of black soap and a small bottle of olive oil, he was very disappointed. However, he didn't show his disappointment. He only prayed silently in his heart that the items would work.
Why do you have doubts about the things I have given you?
He asked, and Enzo was shocked to his bones when he heard that.
How did you know what I was thinking? They call me Father for a reason. Clear whatever doubts you have in your heart, and I assure you that you will come back for more items. Thank you, Father. I'll take my leave now. Hopefully, I'll get home before midnight. Why the hurry? Don't you want to get to know me better? I had made plans for us to meet with some of my friends. Just forget about your plans to travel back today. You will do that tomorrow.
At first, Enzo wanted to insist on returning because he was eager to use the soap and oil. But he changed his mind because he saw that as an opportunity to get to know his new spiritual father better. That evening, just as the spiritualist had said, he took Enzo to meet some of his friends who were also pastors of other big churches. In fact, the spiritualist was preparing to host a pastors' conference at his church, so he had invited other pastors from different countries and he hosted them at a club where there were naked ladies dancing, smoking and drinking. Because Enzo loved what he saw, he didn't question his spiritual father. Instead, he drank, ate and had fun with the girls. Somehow, while Enzo was with his new spiritual father, He overheard that the man had booked a hotel room for him, so he had expected that he would have the room all to himself. But he was mistaken. That night, after Enzo arrived at the luxury hotel he was to sleep at, he showered and was about to retire to bed when he heard a knock on his door. Upon opening, he was shocked to see his spiritual father smiling at him in a robe, and before Enzo could understand what was happening, his spiritual father started making sexual advances at him, and the next thing, he influenced Enzo to sleep with him. Even though Enzo hated what he had done, he could not say anything. The only thing his spiritual father had told him was that they had entered into a covenant, and Enzo was officially part of his spiritual children. The following day, Enzo traveled back to his town with the items he had received from his spiritual father, and without wasting time, he put them to the test. The first thing he did was to bathe with the black soap, and he followed the instruction of washing from his feet upward. Surprisingly, after Enzo had bathed with the black soap, he went to a popular local bar where he often hung out with his friends. And for no reason, people began giving him money. They would just see him, and the next thing, they would give him money. As if that was not enough. For the first time, some of the people from Enzo's neighborhood began referring to him as pastor, and they even asked if they could come and see him at the church. Everything happened suddenly that even Enzo was shocked at how much the black soap had worked. Because of the high demand of people who wanted to see Enzo in church, Enzo and his friends were forced to hold their very first midweek service. And to their greatest surprise, the church was full to the point where people had to struggle for chairs. That day, they made a decent amount of money from the members' offering, and when they saw how much they had made, Enzo and his friends decided they would have an evening service every day. In addition to that Sunday, Enzo did as his spiritual father had instructed, and he poured some of the olive oil in his church premises to draw people, and it worked like magic. To be sure, it wasn't just the black soap that was drawing people to his church. The following Sunday, Enzo didn't bathe with the black soap. He used only the oil, and a good number of people showed up. When he had his confirmation, he called back his spiritual father to tell him everything that happened, and the man told him to call him back when he had finished using the black soap and oil. For the next 3 weeks, Enzo continued using the black soap and oil, and his church gained popularity in his neighborhood and the environs. In fact, people who had to travel a long distance to attend their different churches stopped going to their different churches, and they all flocked to Enzo's church. Eventually, Enzo finished the soap and the oil, and as soon as that happened, he called his spiritual father, who instructed him to come over to his church. Before going to the church, Enzo thought that the man would still give him more black soap and oil, but this time it was different. Instead of the soap and oil, his spiritual father gave him a white handkerchief and a red sheet of cloth.
Congratulations, my boy. You are no longer taking baby steps. It's time for an upgrade. Now, listen to me carefully. When you go back, I want you to buy packs of drinks and biscuits. Then cover them with this red cloth. After you do that, leave it there for 24 hours. Then take it off. What do I do with the drinks and biscuits? You will share it to every first timer in your church. That is, the people who are attending your church for the first time. Now, ensure that you share those packages yourself. And make sure this white handkerchief touches the hands of everyone who receives it. When you do that, you will transfer every good thing from their hands, and you will hook them with whatever you give them. Do I have to do this every day? That depends on how hungry you are for success. If you want your church to grow with members and wealth, then you will take as many goodness from people as you can. Oh, this is easy. I think I can do it every day. No, that's where you are wrong. It's not easy. I knew what I had to sacrifice before I could get the Spirit to give you this. So in exchange for their favor, you must not be with any woman. The only people you must be with is men. If you break this rule, then you will suffer the consequences. Men? Like sleep with only men for the rest of my life? Yes. Is it too big for you to handle? No, it's not. Congratulations again. Soon, the world will come to your feet. The spirits will be watching you. If you do this well and obey their instructions, your next level will be beyond your imaginations. Thank you, Father. I will do my best. So, you will be spending the night with me, right?
He asked, and immediately he said that. Enzo understood why he was asking. The following day, Enzo returned back to his city after spending the night with his spiritual father, and upon reaching his church, he did exactly as he was instructed. During the midweek service that same week, Enzo shared some drinks and biscuits to his church's first-timers, and he ensured he held the white handkerchief while giving it out to them. Surprisingly, later that night while Enzo was sleeping, a strange man came to him and gave him a bag of money. Because Enzo was sleeping, he thought everything had happened in his dream, but when he woke up and saw the same bag of money beside his bed, he was so shocked that he had to call his spiritual father to explain what had happened. After realizing that the money came as a result of the goodness he had stolen from his first-time church members, he swore he would do everything possible to make more money. In the months that followed, Enzo's life and that of his friends changed so much. It was so evident that as their congregation grew bigger, their wealth increased too. Sadly, even though Enzo enjoyed the wealth, he couldn't keep sleeping with men. He had slept with multiple men for more than a year, and he kept craving a woman's body. Somehow, because of this untamed craving, Enzo decided to go against his spiritual father's rule, and he secretly slept with a woman thinking his spiritual father would not find out. Unfortunately for him, the minute he got off the woman, the spirit of insanity struck him. As if that was not enough, while people were trying their best to restrain him, Enzo unconsciously confessed to all the horrible things he had done to grow the church. Because of this confession, the church scattered, and even his friends who encouraged him to do all the evil abandoned him. Sadly, about a week after Enzo ran mad, he died in his sleep, and 2 days later, his body decayed so much that they had to bury him without according him his last respect. If only he had known that nothing good could come from the devil, maybe he would have chosen a different life's path. The end. Did you enjoy the story? Tell us your favorite part in the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also, do not forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you.